Welcome back to Morning Break. Well, we have a special treat for you on this Friday morning. You already know Cutter Martin as our first alert weather meteorologist and our resident Morning Break gardener. Today, he's also going to be our cooking guest.
Yes, Cutter is joining us from the kitchen this morning to show us how to make Martin, Texas caviar. So good morning, Cutter. We're excited. We're excited to have this in the studio right now.
Yeah, I know you can smell it. It's a very aromatic sort of, I was walking through the studio and through the newsroom. People said, what are you making? And I didn't know whether to tell them it was a salsa or maybe a dip. I think it is closest to a salsa. And kind of, guys, it's kind of like that famous recipe that you may have heard, cowboy caviar, basically a poor man's caviar, a bunch of chopped vegetables, chopped very fine like a salsa, almost like a pico de gallo, and then marinated in an Italian dressing. So we have a lot of ingredients here. It's a lot of chopping, maybe not the best recipe for the little ones to get in on until you get to that mixing phase. Now, it's a lot of ingredients. We have one yellow bell pepper, we have one green bell pepper, and one red bell pepper, and I've kind of mixed them up here. So there's a lot of bell pepper. There's no real spice in this particular recipe, though of course you could sub jalapenos. If you hate olives, this also is not going to be your favorite recipe. I tend to love it. We have these traditional, you see this in Greek restaurants a lot, the black olives, but also the brinier, the saltier, the Spanish olives. Green onion fans, this is something you may like. And of course, the base is something a little starchier to kind of counteract and mellow all of these flavors. We have black-eyed peas and we have hominy, almost like a starchy, almost a corn-like taste out there. And that's going to be your base. 1 can of hominy, and we have 4 cans of black-eyed peas. So it's going to make a lot here. This is a family dish, Super Bowl. This is maybe Christmas and New Year's. I come from a family, we don't necessarily prescribe to any classic meals on holidays, and that's going to be your base. Now we're going to simply add in the peppers. Hopefully you can see this. Again, it's a lot, and I probably, as I always do, choose a bowl that's a little too small. So I'm going to pare back just a little bit. Got to keep the green onions in there, though. That oniony taste, in my opinion, kind of makes it along with the Spanish olives. Of course, you can cater this and alter this to something that you like. Have to put in the Spanish olives, the black olives, and something that may surprise you but adds some crunch and really will take on the flavor of whatever it's seasoned in. We're talking baby carrots here. Chopped very finely. It has to be chopped pretty fine here to be about the size of the black-eyed pea. Again, this is something that the only general rule of thumb to follow is you want the vegetables or whatever you're chopping and putting in to be about the size of your base. That's going to be the black-eyed pea, so that nothing really overpowers something else. So small little bits of carrots in here. You can continue that process, probably about a half a cup or so of carrots, depending on how big the mix you're making. And once done, once everything is in there, it's all combined, you're going to put, and here's the weird part, Italian dressing over it. And this is one of those things that you can make ahead of time. The longer it sits, the better it will taste. All the flavors kind of come together. In fact, I actually have one that's already done. It is set in a way that you could probably set it if you were having a little get-together, a little party, just simple blue and your normal yellow corn tortilla chips. That's the end product right there. You can see the dressing has been marinating. It's nice and glistening in there. And I choose Good Seasons Italian dressing. Your grandma probably has those packets in her cupboard or in her cabinet. I think it's one of the best flavors out there, and it really blends pretty well. You can dip this with almost anything. If you're a vegan vegetarian, maybe in a flour tortilla, along with something else as a base. The beans are a good protein and kind of add an extra flavor, maybe in a salad or something like that, guys.
Yeah, so I'm taste testing now.
Cutter, why didn't I get the blue chips?
I was moving quickly. I was moving quickly.
I'm giving you a hard time. It actually smells amazing. It's so beautiful and colorful. Let me try it.
Yeah, I think the smell was the key when I walked in, because the fresh veggies, you start cutting them up, everybody gets a good whiff of them, and you don't even have to cook anything. That's what was really nice about this.
Yeah, a lot of chopping, no cooking. You're going to smell also the apple cider vinegar in the Italian dressing. It is important to have a good salty chip with this, I think, because it helps kind of mellow out. Again, this is something that everything has to mix together in the proper ratio. There are no general rules, but if you want that perfect flavor, a nice salty tortilla chip will help, along with the brininess of that Spanish olive, to kind of salt it down and make it taste more like a dip or a salsa versus a bunch of vegetables kind of shoved in the bowl, if that makes sense.
You know, Cutter, we've always talked about how much you and I both love like dips at parties, at the Super Bowl or whatever. And this is a dip that you can eat without feeling guilty. It's delicious, it's filling, but it's not full of cream cheese, butter, sour cream, mayonnaise, all of that good but not good for you stuff. So this is delicious. I love this. Tell your mom we love the recipe.
I will pass it along. And also, this is one of those things you make it 2-3 days ahead of time. Of course, keep it in the fridge. These are all vegetables, no real expiration date in any immediate time, and will last, and the flavors will really blend and get even better as time goes on. And I believe, guys, we're going to put this recipe on WTOC.com on that morning break tab.
Awesome.
Yeah. And you're the guy at the party that shows up with something unique rather than just bringing the same buffalo chicken dip that a lot of people will bring.
Or
if someone doesn't like it, I just blame it on my mom.
This is better than a veggie tray. Nobody likes when someone brings a veggie tray to a party. Cutter, we're just so happy to reopen the WTOC kitchen. Of course, because of COVID, we've not been able to have guests in, but slowly but surely we're getting back to normal. So thanks for kicking things off for us.
Glad to be here.
All right. Well, Dave